Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified when the next video comes out. It only takes 2 seconds to make 2 clicks. So let's do it. Let's get back to the video. Hello. This is Dr. G, and this is a different episode. This is a solo episode, and I am entitling this episode #Big Adventure 2021. And that will become clear as to why I'm titling the episode that, because I want to tell you a series of stories. So let's just start with the first one. So as you know, I am an emergency physician. I work nights. I love podcasting. I am a mom, wife, daughter, and I am originally from Jamaica, West Indies. And I left Jamaica when I was about 10 years old and came to the US because my mother had the foresight to actually listen to me when I said I wanted to become a physician, and then to actually want to make that pathway a feasible one, and saw that essentially the pathway would be the smoothest if we left Jamaica and actually went to the United States. So that brought me to a new country at 10 years old after knowing only the culture and the lifestyle in Jamaica for the 10 fundamental years of my life. And then starting a fresh, brand new place, different culture. And the rest, I guess, is a little bit of a history. So one interesting point about that is when we left, we literally left with what was in our suitcases and $40, because that was what was allowed to be taken with you when you left the country back then. And that is our immigrant story, right? And so obviously things went well because we were able to navigate the educational system, and I was able to go to undergrad and to medical school and to become a physician, and ultimately go to residency at Duke University Medical Center and practice for the last 16 years as an attending physician in emergency medicine. So those are the beginnings, right? So that was a move that was a transition for me. So it was a transition for a child who 10 years old knew only one particular way, and then moved into a new situation where I had to, adapt and be more independent, because where I was living, the school that I attended was actually quite a distance away. And so I had to take 2 New York City buses to get to school every morning, and obviously 2 New York City buses to get home from school. And so I learned a lot about independence, and I learned a lot about the transportation system and got very comfortable with that. And so those were some amazing lessons that came about from that time. Now, my mom was 33, I think, at the time. And she was leaving. So I was leaving at 10. She was leaving at 33. She was leaving essentially everything she'd known for 33 years to start afresh in a new environment. So definitely not the same situation as myself. Definitely more profound and drastic a change. And so thankfully, she was able to adapt as well. Now, we fast forward 40, 40, no, not 40, 30, 35, 36 years. So we fast forward 36 years, and we are in a situation where we're going to be changing countries again. And so it's different this time because obviously my mom's not 33 and obviously I'm not 10, but my children are young and our baby is 9. And so for her, all she's known is living in Michigan for the 9 years of her life. And now she's about to embark on Big Adventure 2021, and she's going to be living in an entirely different country. So I'm interested in interviewing her and kind of seeing what her thoughts are, probably a little bit later on, to see how she is adapting to the change and to see how it has affected her, and maybe compare it to my own experiences that I had when I transitioned countries at 10. Now, the other children are 11 and 12, and I am definitely going to be getting their perspectives as well. And again, comparing it to my own. Now, my mom is not 33 anymore. And so for her, I'm going to have to get her impression of this particular transition as it compares to that initial one. So stay tuned. So I say all this to say that, there's I don't know, I don't want to call it a tradition in our family, but I want to say that it seems like there's a pattern in our family that we are looking to explore new things, and for different reasons. So the reason why we came to the States is because of better opportunity for education, particularly for me, and allow and facilitate the accomplishment of a particular dream that apparently I had since I was 8, which is kind of crazy still to me. I still have to pinch myself when I think about that. And then the other thing is, so now we are doing it for a different reason. So we're doing it because we want to have the children have an experience of living elsewhere, because there is something very powerful about that. It is something that is not tangible. It is something that allows them to be more I don't want to say Machiavellian, but like it really helps them to expand their horizons. It helps them to expand their perspectives. It helps them to really be world citizens, right? And so world citizens have, they have wide ideas. They have big thoughts. They have big ideas that they share, and they help to make the world better because they see the different perspectives, and they realize that in the end, no matter where we are, no matter where we live, we are literally after the same things. We want to have people that love us. We want to have family or friends or whoever it is. We want to be loved, and we want people that love us. We want to be able to contribute to our society in some way, shape, or form. And then we also want to make a difference, right? We want to leave some kind of legacy. So whether that legacy is, the children that we leave behind, or the charities that we support, I don't know, whatever it is, but we all want the same things, no matter where we live, no matter what language you speak, no matter any of that. And so it's just really cool for them to be submerged in another environment where they get to see that is indeed the case. And so that's part of the motivation for the move and changing of countries. Now, and so we as a family, we really, really love to travel. We love to travel. We love to visit new places. We love to talk to the people in those places. We love to go and explore and just check out what each place has to offer. And so this is right up our alley, because this move is not only going to facilitate that in-depth experience in the new country we're going to, but it's also going to allow for us to be able to visit some places that have been on my son's bucket list for travel. And we initially were thinking, man, we won't be able to go to those places anytime soon. But now it turns out that we will be able to. So that is another thing that Big Adventure 2021 is going to facilitate. So excited about that. So I said that I wanted to, so I'm giving, and that was a backstory, okay, of why we're moving. So the interesting thing about the situation that happened in last year is that it really allowed for a lot of personal development, soul searching, and again, not everybody was in that situation. I consider myself very grateful and blessed to have been in a situation where I could pause and I could reflect, because I know that a lot of people suffered last year and are still suffering. And I know that a lot of people feel hopeless. And I implore you to ask for assistance if you are in that situation, because there are people out here who want to help you and will be willing to be a listening ear. You know, there are professionals who are here to help you through this particular situation that is unduly stressful and none other that we've ever seen, experienced, etc. So for me, though, despite the fact that there was this crazy change in how we practice and this crazy change in what was happening around us, and we were seeing, you know, really, really sick patients, and we were in a black box. We just didn't know like how we were to approach the patients, and it was a constant moving target. The frustrations of that, the changes in how we actually practice, the wall, that invisible wall that came up between the patient and us, you know, all these things were just added stressors that were unexpected, that came as a consequence of the pandemic. And obviously, we are still reeling from that. We are still recovering from that. We are still working through our emotions and all of the things, all the other accoutrements that come along with such a dramatic and drastic scenario. But my thought process and the place where I was at the beginning of the pandemic was somewhat advantageous, because I was already working on my personal development, and I was already in tune with the fact that there may be a test of that strength, of that resilience. And I essentially doubled down on personal development last year and really worked on those items that would hopefully help me to help other people to be better than they were yesterday, and to hopefully help me to continue to face fear and continue to transform that potential energy that sometimes accompanies fear into kinetic energy that's going to allow for change and impact and greatness to occur. So for me, 2020 was a year that was challenging clinically. It was a year that was challenging emotionally, and it was a year that was challenging basically, you know, in just carrying out my job. And despite that, on the personal side, I had tremendous growth. On the business side, I had tremendous growth within my business as well. So not only with the podcast, but also with my tech company, I was able to do some things that I probably would not have been able to do otherwise. And it basically pushed the needle. It ignited a fire to get things done that probably would not have gotten ignited had there not been a situation where my back was up against the wall. So all these things, all these lessons from 2020 also reflected in my hubby realizing that he could work from anywhere in the world. And so that was amazing, because then that allowed for us to have the opportunity to change countries. So that's the other piece that brought us to where we're going to be going in a couple of days. And so the other thing with that is that, my businesses, the podcast, as well as the tech company, are also portable, as is my craft. So emergency medicine, you can practice it in many other countries besides the US. And so, that portability is what helped to facilitate the progress or the initiation, I guess, or the process. No, I can't think of the right word, but it allowed for Big Adventure 2021 to even happen. So I remember probably about 10 years ago when I decided that, you know what? I want to go and work in another country. I want us to be able to experience another culture. And at that time, I actively looked into working abroad. And what came of that investigation research, what came of that is essentially I was able to get a position in Australia. And so very excited about that. I got the position, did all the interviews over the telephone, et cetera, et cetera. And then ultimately, we made an assumption. And that assumption was that my mom would come with us because at the time, I think we had already had our son. So we had a small child. I was thinking that I'm probably going to have other children. And I was concerned about not having anybody else besides, us there. And, how are we going to have, what's childcare going to look like? And so when we told my mom, she was like, I'm not ready to retire. She was like, I am still very much involved in my situation right now. And maybe it was actually more than 10 years ago. And then I think about it because our youngest is 9. And so anyway, she was not quite ready to retire. And so she was not coming with us. So basically that put the kibosh on that particular situation. So I just said, you know what, I can't take this position because, our family situation is not where we'd like it to be in order to be able to make this successful. So this is another reason why it is so amazing and so fantastic that we are going on Big Adventure 2021, because now we are going on this adventure with not only our immediate family, so myself, my husband, and our 3 cherubs, but also, and this is the best part, but also my mom and my husband's mom. So we are literally picking up the family and moving to Big Adventure 2021. So there are so many pieces to this story that have come together. And I am a firm believer in energy and circumstance. And I really, really believe that this did not occur until it was actually the right time. And even though we tried to make it happen, a little bit over 10 years ago, it wasn't going to happen then because it wasn't the right time. That wasn't our moment to go on this adventure, because we needed to go on this adventure with everybody. We needed to have both moms. We needed to have all 3 children. We needed to have all the things in place in order for this to actually be the appropriate situation, the best scenario for this to be truly the big adventure that we were seeking. And so now, and as I'm recording this now, when this comes out, it won't be the same amount of days, but as I'm recording this on February 13th in the morning, looking out the window and seeing snow on the back porch, on the grass in the backyard, and I am sitting in the living room of our first house, because I'll tell you what happened with the other house, but we sold the other house. And I'm looking around and I'm saying, man, there are only going to be 3 more days. Is it 3? Actually, Sunday, Monday. So 2 full days left in Michigan before we go on Big Adventure 2021, because Tuesday we're up and we are on our way to our new destination. So it is bittersweet. I had my last shift in the emergency department on Monday of this week, Monday night. And it was definitely very emotional because I have been here in Michigan for 16 years almost. And literally I got done with residency at Duke and then came directly here. So this was my first job, which is somewhat of an anomaly to be in one job in emergency medicine for so many years. But it has been such an amazing ride. I have gotten the opportunity to work with some incredible individuals. You know, all the team, the entire team has just been phenomenal. And I was reminded about what I was like when I first came out of residency, how scared I was, how I was just so, you know, obviously I knew what I was doing, but I was appropriately, cautious. And of course, as the years go by, or years went by, just how I've grown in my profession, how I've grown as a teacher, as a leader, as a learner, has just been phenomenal. And so I was reminded of that by some individuals that have known me from the very beginning. And I was so appreciative because, as I look back, I see that there has been a tremendous transformation that has occurred over the years as well. And I feel incredibly blessed to have had the opportunity to be a part of so many residency classes and be a part of their learning experience and have them teach me quite a bit. And it has been phenomenal just being able to participate in our college. So we have our professional organization for the state of Michigan is the Michigan College of Emergency Physicians. Just being able to participate in the incredible programs that our college offers, the leadership development program, and all that came about from that. Being able to have the honor of speaking at the conferences that we've had here in Michigan, and also having the honor of being named the Michigan College of Emergency Physicians Physician of the Year in 2019. All of these things have been incredibly grateful. I'm incredibly grateful for. And I am definitely going to take these experiences, these things that I've learned onto Big Adventure 2021 to be able to serve that community as well. And I know it was a great honor to have served this particular community for the last 16 years. And I look forward to hearing all of the great news that's going to come out, over the years as I reach back and stay in contact with colleagues. So that I am very grateful for. I have to put that out there because my heart is full, and I have said thank you to so many, but I know that there are some that I have probably forgotten or no longer here with us and have moved on to other places. And if you're in earshot, thank you. Thank you for everything. And so I'm just super grateful. So professionally, I am going on a new adventure in Big Adventure 2021. And as far as our family, we're going on a new adventure in Big Adventure 2021. So you have got to stay tuned to find out, because I'm going to do another episode where I'm actually going to be recording it on location in Big Adventure 2021. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some other things that I have learned. So I just wanted to, because we had to talk about fear. Okay. All right. So I'm talking about all these things. I've neglected to talk about fear. So now, I get this question. So I got a question the other day, and it was essentially this: Dr. G, how can you possibly decide to move somewhere that is so far away and that you have never visited? And how can you do that? Aren't you afraid? Okay, so I'm going to address that question. So it's not that I am not afraid. It is that I have realized over the years, and ever since, even probably a little bit before, somebody pointed out to me that I was practicing resilience and practicing fearlessness since 10. So when I transitioned countries and we came at 10 years old, I was already practicing this. And so, this situation where we're going to be making this big move into the unknown, essentially, yes, I could be afraid. I could, but I am not going to let that stop me from doing it. Because the way that I look at it is like this: I can either not do this, I can either not take this opportunity and, inevitably, deprive my family of the chance to have this kind of, enriched experience. Or, I could just shrink back and be like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I've never been to a place. I'm not going to go there. It's just too much. It's too far away, et cetera, et cetera. I could make all the excuses, but I'm not going to do that. Why? Because I just do not wish to have any regret. Like, that is my mantra. Like, I just don't want to have any regrets. And I don't want to be thinking about the thing and then, oh man, we should have done it back in 2021 because that was a perfect time to do it. And now we can't really do it. I just do not want any regret. And particularly, I don't want there to be regret for my family, right? So I don't want it to be a situation where, man, we had a chance to go there and we just didn't do it. And now, the cherubs miss out, the moms miss out, the hubby misses out. Like, I just don't want that regret. So the not fear of regret, I guess the dislike, the fact that I just don't want to have regret trumps and supersedes, supplants the fear. So therefore, it's kind of not really that big a deal that we've never seen the place. And it's kind of not that big a deal that it's so far away, because I have every confidence that this is the right move. And I told you, I believe a lot in circumstance and how things line up and energies and things. And so everything is pointing toward this being a good decision. And so that basically allays my fear and just really reinforces the choice as being a good one. So that's the deal with fear and this particular situation. And I'm just going to share a couple tips that I learned so far from making a giant move abroad. Okay. And now I will have more because once we get there, well, there's plenty more, but I'm just going to share a couple. So the first tip, or maybe it's not a tip, maybe it's a saying or what do you call that? Realism. So the first one is, you have more stuff than you actually need. And I've been told this. I've talked to other individuals who have made big moves and they've said this, and I just did not believe it. I just didn't. But I will tell you that I believe it now, because we took our home. Our home is the home that we had before was essentially probably about 3,500 square feet. And that's just the living area. The basement was completely unfinished and had a egress window. So that was like another 1,500 square feet that was down there. So we took this home, and you know what people do when you live in when you go from a small space to a larger space, you tend to accumulate stuff. And we've lived there for like 9 years. So we accumulated quite a bit of stuff. And particularly since we had 3 cherubs, that's going to be even more stuff. So we accumulated all this stuff, and it was well hidden in the house, right? Because the house is larger. And so, and maybe not as large as other homes, but to me, it was a larger home because it was larger than the house we started out in. And so, you know, when the time came for us to start decluttering and debulking, it was kind of comical, because it was literally like, you know, we had situations where we had boxes that we had not unpacked. And it was like, okay, wait, why do we still have boxes that aren't unpacked? Okay, so right away, you know that those things, you didn't need them, you didn't use them, so they need to go. Bye-bye. So that kind of stuff was a little bit easier. But then you start wanting to go through all the things one by one, and you're like, oh, what kind of emotion do I have associated with this? And then you have to kind of like Marie Kondo it and just be like, yeah, no feelings, haven't used it, get rid of it. And so we did that. We did this like big, huge debulking. We did this huge debulking, and literally we thought we were doing well. We thought we were doing fantastic. So we literally were able to debulk, and we gave away so much stuff. We gave away furniture. We gave away clothing. We were at the Goodwill essentially almost every single day for like 2 weeks. We were giving, they knew us by name. We were giving away so much stuff. So we gave a whole lot of stuff away. We had, we utilized this app called Nextdoor Tuttle Hill, and we gave away a ton more stuff through that. And we still thought we were doing something. And then I have to tell you that even after we did all of that, we thought we decluttered massively, we still were able to fill not one, not two, but 3 truckloads of 1-800 Got Junk trucks. I know, right? It's crazy. So when people tell you that there's a lot of stuff that you have that you just don't need, and it was revealed very clearly when you're moving, they are not lying. And I am a living example of that. Okay. And so, yeah, number one, there's a lot of stuff that you just don't need that you have and you're just holding on to, and that somebody else can benefit from, or, maybe needs to be recycled or something. So that was number one lesson. That was really, really key. And then the next lesson is, I didn't realize that you couldn't just ship your car to another location that's overseas. I didn't realize that. Well, okay. I guess the first thing I didn't realize was how pricey it is to ship a car. Okay, so that was whoa, major sticker shock there. But once I got up past the sticker shock, the next thing I didn't realize was that you had to have certain things in place. And I guess I didn't realize that I didn't have those things. Okay, so the first thing was, we had 2 vehicles. One of them was a purchase and the other was a lease. And so we've leased cars over the years. We've bought cars over the years. We've had a ton of different cars over the time. But I didn't pay too much attention to the fact that the only car that we had a title for was the car that we purchased. We didn't have a title for the lease. And I just was assuming that, yeah, we could just take the lease. And so you can't just, even if you have a title for a vehicle and you own the vehicle, in the sense that you're making payments on the vehicle. And maybe this is to speak to, those of us who actually still make payments on cars, which I still do, even though I know sometimes it's better to just buy it outright. But I like to change my cars like every couple of years. So I like to have them on payment so I can just trade them in. But that's a whole other conversation. And so basically we found out that you have to get permission from the lien holder before you take the vehicle out of the country. And so, of course, when we call up the car maker and we're like, hey, we're thinking about moving to Big Adventure 2021. Is that a thing? Is that a problem? They were like, oh, you cannot take that car out of the country. You cannot. You, my friend, would have to purchase the vehicle outright, pay it off before you can take it anywhere. Okay. All right. So I had no clue. And then I had no clue that and this has totally slipped my mind probably. And again, like I said, it's because we've gone through so many transactions with cars. It's like, nah, I don't really pay attention anymore. And so the lease, there was no title. Why was there no title for this lease? Because you don't get titles for leases. The title is held by the car company, right? They hold the title. Once you pay off the lease, if that's what you choose to do, then you get the title. Oh my gosh, total newsflash. I was completely ignorant of this. And so we had 2 vehicles, like I said, and the one that we purchased, right, but was making payments on, so still had a lien on it. And so we were told, okay, yeah, you have the title, but you need to actually pay off the vehicle in order for you to transport it out of the country. And then the other, which is a lease, which you did not have the title for, because you do not get the title until you've paid that off. Hello. Did not know that. So if you ever have to make a trip or move abroad and you want to bring your car, you need to make sure that you own a thing outright. So ultimately, I'll tell you next time what we ended up doing. But that was a lesson that I completely had no clue about. So that was tip number 2. And then tip number 3 is whatever you do, no matter how amazing you think you are at online shopping, or you feel like you have an insider scoop on this, whatever you do, for the love of God, get you a realtor. Get a realtor in the place that you're going to be going. rely on realtor.com or I know wherever else the thing, whatever listing site that you have access to, because guess what? They don't put all the inventory out. Number one, a lot of times the inventory is distributed through something called a RLS feed, and that is specifically linked to realtors. So in order for you to see truly what's out there, the true inventory, in order for you to have somebody with boots on the ground in the place that you've never been to before that you're moving to, that you can literally have as an advocate for you to make sure that they're going and checking anything and making sure that, there's not like a big hole in the wall or something crazy that could be going down that's not depicted in the pictures. So get a realtor. Okay. Now we have the most amazing realtor, and I can't reveal her name yet. I will reveal her name in the next episode, because if I reveal her name, I know you are very smart individuals, that you are a very smart individual, and that you will go and Google it, and then you'll know where we're going for Big Event in 2021. And I don't want you to get ahead of the game. So, because I want to reveal it to you, because I'm so excited about it. So get a realtor. So getting a realtor allowed for us to be able to get not only our house, but our mom's house. And it turned out that the houses are right next to each other. So yet another sign that this particular adventure was meant to happen. So I am so excited because we're, like I said, 2 days away for Wheels Up. And I will, in the next episode, talk about all of the things I've left hanging, including some additional things. And I'll also be able to talk more about what it actually feels like to be in the place that you have been planning to go to for the last, let me see, when did we decide? We decided in October. And so what are we at now? February. So October, November, December, January, February. So for the last 3+ months, we've been planning for this, and it's going to actually be happening in a few days. So I will definitely let you know what it's like to have boots, shoes on the ground in the place that you are moving to with your whole entire family, starting a brand new job, never seen before, because guess what? No regrets. All right. So I thank you for your time and your attention, and stay tuned for the next episode where we talk about what happens in Big Adventure 2021 and where it actually is. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is Dr. G, and I hope that you will be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Again, I'm Dr. G. And if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified of when the next episode is going to be. And also, I'll catch you next time. Have a great one. Be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness.